Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be doing our preview and predictions of AEW's Winter is Coming, which starts tonight on Dynamite. So we have Winter is Coming tonight in Atlanta. And then on Saturday, we have Winter is Coming Part 2, which is on Collision, which is over here in the UK in Cardiff, Wales. So there's a big stacked card tonight, so I thought, why not do our preview and predictions? I've been enjoying doing them as of late, and as always, if you feel like it, please do let me know your predictions in the comment section below, and then we can always compare afterwards. I always enjoy that part of it. I do apologise if I sniffle or sneeze during this. I am absolutely full of cold at the minute, but I wanted to plough on and get this done anyway. So we have 5 matches confirmed for tonight. We have 2 Continental Classic matches. We have a Tag Team Tornado match. We have the Women's Tag Team Tournament Final. And we have the AEW World Championship. So we'll start in with the Continental Classic matches. So we have Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He is replacing the injured Darby Allin, and he'll be taking on Kazuchika Okada. So now, obviously, Okada lost his first match to Kyle Fletcher and then picked up a victory in the second. Obviously, Jack Perry hasn't yet wrestled, but he's coming in for Darby Allin, who lost his first match to Kevin Knight. So Jack Perry's coming in on 0 points, and Kazuchika Okada is coming in on 3. To be honest with you, I find this one a hard one to pick. I'd have said Jack Perry would have won his first match, obviously gaining momentum coming into the tournament. But the fact that Kazuchika Okada is only on 3 points does make me wonder where they're going to go with this one. Obviously, like I say, Kazuchika Okada hasn't had many pinfall losses. I would expect him to go into the final as well, obviously being the defending champion. I'd expect him to be in the final. You know, my pick was always for it to be Okada versus Takeshita in the final. Whether that obviously is what AEW wants, is, you know, remains to be seen. Anyone can win any match at any time, as we see Masquerade pick up a shocking victory against Claudio Castagnoli on Collision. So these aren't always as straightforward as what you would think. Obviously, Jack Perry's not long returned. A couple of months ago, he returned obviously with tag team partner Luchasaurus. But obviously, in the Continental Classics, there is everyone banned from ringside. So Kazuchika Okada will not be able to call on the Don Callis family. And in response, Jack Perry will not be able to call on Luchasaurus to help for the victory. I do really find this one an interesting matchup, and I think it could really go 50-50. But although Jack Perry is only just coming into it, and a win would be great, I feel like Kazuchika Okada has to pick up the victory to put him on 6 points, because we've already got Kyle Fletcher in the Gold League on 6 points. So, like I say, I think Kazuchika Okada will go to the final. So I feel like he needs to start putting some more points on the board. So I think Okada picks up the victory against Jack Perry. So we'll move on to the second match of the Continental Classic for the night, and it is league leader Kyle Fletcher, who is on 6 points, and he'll be facing against Speedball Mike Bailey, who is yet to pick up a victory. This will only be his second match in the tournament, though, whereas this is obviously Kyle Fletcher's third. Again, another match that I'm really interested to see. I think it'd be a really good match. Obviously, Kyle Fletcher is on an amazing run in 2025. The Speedballs had a really good showing, mainly as a tag team wrestler this year, obviously coming in and teaming with Kevin Knight. But I am interested to see where they go with this one, and especially considering, like I said, Kyle Fletcher is on 6 points already. If he picks up another victory, that puts him on 9. So even if Okada picks up a victory in the other match, he'll be on 6, and then if Fletcher wins this one, he'll go on 9. Or could Speedball Mike Bailey get his first win at the tournament in a shocking upset, which would be an upset, to be fair. And would we then see Okada and Fletcher both on 6 points. So it's really interesting, a lot to take in. So people sometimes don't look at the point system. You've got to look at the point system when doing, obviously, predictions, because sometimes that might change your opinion. But in this case, I'm going to say it doesn't, and I'm going to back Kyle Fletcher to pick up the victory against Speedball. And I feel like Fletcher is going to go into the top spot. Remain in the top spot, to be fair, because he already is the top spot at the minute in the Gold League, but he'll push on and become the only one with 3 victories. That's why I'm going to go with Kyle Fletcher picks up the victory, because I think it's going to be, because it's Drew Okada versus Kyle Fletcher in the semi-finals, which obviously we've seen that in the opening match, but we can see it again in the semi-finals. So we'll move on next to the makeshift tag team of Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page, and they are going to team together in a tornado tag match, which obviously means no disqualification and no tagging in and out. Every man is legal at any one time, and they are going to face against AEW World Trios Tag Team Champions Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata. I'm so excited for this. You can't understand. They've built up the story and of Swerve and Hangman now for so long, the greatest rivalry in AEW's history. And then, of course, we've seen earlier this year, Swerve helped Hangman defeat Jon Moxley and become AEW World Champion. And then, of course, while Swerve's been out injured, Hangman then loses that belt to Samoa Joe thanks to the Ops. So obviously Swerve set his sights back on the World Championship, as obviously last time Samoa Joe was World Champion, Swerve was able to defeat him for it. So basically, they have become tag team partners because they hate the Ops more right now than what they hate of each other. I think they found that new sort of respect for one another, and they understand each other a lot more now. They've both been the good guy and they've both been the villain in their story, but right now they're both the good guys, and obviously they are going against the well-oiled machine of the Ops. Since putting these 3 together, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs and Shibata, they've been probably the best trio in wrestling, not just in AEW. They've been brilliant, so good, so dominant. I mean, just look at the 3 of them. 3 of them alone are stars, and then you stick them together and they've just been a fantastic team. You really have been one of my favourite, if not my favourite teams of the year. Out of these, probably Brody, those the other one. But I'm really interested to see Powerhouse and Shibata take on Swerve and Hangman. How can Swerve and Hangman actually get on together as a tag team, considering it would be the first proper time team and just together 2-on-2? But having said that, you've got 2 former AEW World Heavyweight Champions teaming together. Both seem to be on the same page, and it's a tornado tag match as well. These 2 are 2 of the most dangerous and violent wrestlers in AEW, as we've seen them against each other many a times prove that. And they'll obviously be taking on 2 absolute powerhouses, but I feel like the advantage does go to Swerve and Hangman, with it being a tornado. So I'm going to back Swerve and Hangman to pick up the victory, and I can't wait to see these 2 as a tag team, by the way, and hopefully it leads them at some point going for the AEW tag team titles. Speaking of AEW tag team titles, up next we will look at the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships in the tournament final between the Babes of Wrath and the Timeless Love Bombs. So we have obviously the Babes of Wrath being Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, and they will take on Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. So obviously way back at the beginning when they announced this tournament, I said that Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa will probably become the first ever AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. And, they've made it this far and they've made it to the final. But one team I didn't expect to get over as much as they have is the Babes of Wrath. I thought they might get over, but right now they're probably the most over team in the company, even more than any in the men's division. There's just an energy about them right now, and the fans are really, really taken to them. It'd be silly. In my mind, it'd be silly for them not to become the very first tag team champs just because how over they are. Give the fans what they want. I know Tony Khan is very high on both Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa, and rightly so. They are both great wrestlers. They're both good talents. They're both are very reliable. They put on good matches when called upon, especially, Tony. She is, basically the main attraction for the AEW women's division for the last how many years. She's been all eyes on the product for her. She's been one of the, if not the best women's wrestler going. Maybe in my mind, probably second to Athena only. But obviously a lot of people don't see Athena's matches because they are on Ring of Honor. But certainly out of AEW and WWE, she is the best in the world. But like I say, to me, not putting the belts on Tony and Mina Shirakawa does not like damage them as a team. Like one loss for them, even if it's for the tag team titles, they continue to be a team afterwards. Like they've basically teamed longer than the tag team titles have been a thing, so that's not a problem. Them continuing to team even after losing. Plus, they've got a lot of storylines that they can look into. Obviously, Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir being, one that they could look into again. They've got Jamie Hayter, Tony's obviously got history there. There's quite a lot that they can do even without the titles. Plus, we've got to build a division. See, this the thing is, after the tag team titles are crowned, the tag champions are crowned, you then need to build a division. You need these teams to all stay around and stay active. Plus, I feel like the Sisters of Sin are going to be coming for the gold. We've seen them dominate backstage last week on Collision, and I'd expect very soon the Sisters of Sin, even though they lost in the tournaments, they've still got to defend the belts after they win them. So I feel like Babe Seraphi's Sisters of Sin is where I'd want to go after. I'd put the titles on Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. And then we move on to the main event of the evening. It's the AEW World Championship. It's just continuing a tradition that has gone on every year. For Winter is Coming, they normally have the AEW World Championship defended on the show. But if I remember right, and I might be wrong, so please do let me know in the comment section if I am wrong. I feel like the only time the AEW World title has changed hands at Winter is Coming was when Jon Moxley lost the belt to Kenny Omega. I may be wrong, so if you am, feel free to let me know. But I feel like that is the last time the World Championship did change hands on Winter is Coming. So we have obviously the AEW World Champion and AEW Trios Champion, Samoa Joe. He is in the second reign as the AEW World Champion, and he will be taking on the fan favourite Eddie Kingston. Obviously, we've seen Eddie return a couple of months ago. He was out for a very, very long time, considered retiring, but luckily and thankfully for us, he decided to return to the ring, and since then he'd been teaming and tag teaming with Hook. Obviously, they were looking at going for the AEW tag team titles. Hook then turned heel, helping Samoa Joe defeat Hangman Page and become AEW World Champion, thus revealing that he was still, in fact, aligned with the Ops, which obviously ruffled the feathers of Eddie Kingston, who said he doesn't want to take it out on Hook. He blames Samoa Joe for guiding him down the wrong way, and there we have it. That is the story in the build to the AEW World Championship. Obviously, this is Samoa Joe's first title defense since winning it the second time, and I feel like this is Eddie's first chance at challenging for the championship since Jon Moxley's first reign. And maybe wrong. I feel like that is the last time Eddie had a AEW World Championship shot. So I know, obviously, my wife is a massive Eddie Kingston fan. She thinks Eddie, or hopes that Eddie becomes the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But for me, it's not going to happen. It makes no sense for Eddie to pick up the victory apart from a really nice moment. Samoa Joe is dominant. He's a heel right now. We need to be at the very top, so then we can have Hangman going against him. We can have Swerve Strickland going against him. They're obviously two obvious opponents right now. If Ospreay returns soon, I think we're looking at early next year. You've got Ospreay that can go against Samoa Joe as well. If Jay White returns as a face, because when he went out, he was a face, we've got Jay White versus Samoa Joe for the world title as well. There's so many different things right now. We need some more top heels at the top of the company. Obviously, Samoa Joe's number one. And then you've got MJF when he returns. So, obviously, you've got a lot of options going forward. Obviously, MJF still has that world championship opportunity in his back pocket as well. So for me, this one is going to be Samoa Joe picks up the victory and retains the AEW World Championship. I think it's going to be Samoa Joe versus Swerve for the world title at the next pay-per-view, which is, I think, is World's End next. And I feel like we'll get Eddie Kingston versus probably Hook as well. So I feel like that's where we're going after this match. But for me, for now, Samoa Joe retains the AEW World Championship. So, of course, that is all we have time for today. That is the full card from beginning to end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please let me know your predictions, and we can compare them afterwards and see who got more right. As always, if you haven't already, please leave us a like, drop us a comment, and of course, please hit that subscribe button now.